Welcome to the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Welcome back, I should say. It's been a while. I can loosely remember what happened last time, but not enough for a recap. I just remember something about Herlog losing, quote-unquote, his violin, Stradivari, and figuring out that he actually grabbed a viola from the store where you pawn shop. Yes, finally. I was thinking last few weeks I couldn't remember that stupid name, that stupid word. All right, the pawn shop he normally goes to. That he grabbed the viola because he thought it was his violin and didn't realize it wasn't. So we went to that pawn shop, met the pawn shop owner, figured out that well, Herlog installed some cameras that take a picture every half an hour or so, just to then be involved in a fight over a coat which has some music discs in its pockets. And I think that's where we left off. That took us 3 hours or so. So it's a very long chapter, I must say. I'm not sure if I like it. Oh yeah, reminds me. Because this game, I actually have to manually say, choose that window, please. Thank you. All right. I hope it is picked up. I'm sorry. I changed my settings on my laptop to the gaming settings, so my cooling system is working in overdrive now. Even for a game like this. So yeah, if you hear my fan, I am sorry. It is quite loud. It's like a jet flying by. I don't know, it's really loud. It's like, alright, my laptop will take off any minute now. But hopefully it's not too bad. Well, Mr. Magnus McGilded. Not a name I expected to hear in these circumstances. Mr. Sholmes, I'm afraid there's something very troubling on my mind. Pray tell, Mr. Sutter. Well, according to what Mr. Windybank told us earlier, today was the final day on which the court could have been redeemed, was it not? Yes, ma'am, that is correct. Today would be precisely 2 months since it was first deposited. Well, today is the 15th of April, so 2 months ago today would have been the 15th of February, so that's right, it's all carefully recorded in my ledger. Deposited at 10:30 p.m. I see. What? But that's just... Yes, the 15th of February. It's precisely the day on which the omnibus murder took place. And 10:30 in the evening is precisely the time at which the terrible events were unfolding. Suggestive is not the word. It would seem the matter is entirely beyond coincidence. You are, of course, at liberty to make whatever outlandish deductions you choose. However, I must insist you hand over the music box disc now. It would be a terrible shame for you to return to your native land in a box. What do I do? Absolutely not. There are some things a man must protect at all costs. This may well be one of those things. Then again, it may not. Hold it. Yep, Mr. Windybank. This is my shop. I won't allow any harm to come to my customers if that were to happen. I should have to take my own life. First, take the life of the one that is holding the gun. Otherwise, this would be useless. A useless sacrifice. Mr. Windybank, no! Right, that's enough. Inspector Gregson. Inspector? That's right, Sunshine. The alarm was raised on one of our dedicated emergency lines, so we got here as fast as we could. Now, what's all this about, eh? Oh, praise be. You're here at last. I was moments away from forfeiting my own life in my very own establishment. Dude, it doesn't even make sense. If you have a gun, and there's a gun-wielding dude in your shop, why would you kill yourself? I'm not for personal gun use. I am not. I prefer those things being regulated. But seriously, if you have the gun and the surprise on your side, then shoot the shooter and not yourself. Unless you're that bad of a shot, then okay. Maybe don't point your gun in a crowd of people, but if you have the confidence that you can at least disable the person with the gun, then do so. As long as your life is not at risk, that is, of course. And in this case, yes, the gun was known, so I for one would not have put my back towards the general area of the gun or the pistol, whatever, but still, I know you don't really value your life very much. I don't either, but that just doesn't make any sense, dude. You can put your gun down now. Pistol, whatever. It would seem you have the upper hand. Yeah, no shit, Sherlock. Oh, wow. And he's back with his fish and chips. Right, you lot have got some explaining to do. I don't appreciate being bothered with some petty argy-bargy, whatever that is. Petty? Mr. Windybank, when nearly met with his end by his own choosings. Yeah, by his own gun, as far as I can tell. Yes! Oh dear. And the whole of Britain could meet with its end if I don't get to the bottom of the case I'm supposed to be working on. What on earth is the case, Inspector? Spare no detail, Gregson. I might have to say a little too much. No matter, it's nothing to do with you lot. Anyway, sir, you're gonna have to come with me down to the station. But of course, Inspector. Ah, he's getting away. Get after him, lads. Whistle the beat officer, too, sir. There's been a spate of thefts at pawn shops around here recently. So we've fitted emergency buttons underneath the counters for brokers to let us know when there's trouble. Oh, Inspector was very worried there for a while. Very worried indeed. Now then, Mr. Permanently in mourning. Oh, yes? I'll be taking that, whatever it is, of Mr. McGilder's down to the yard. Thank you very much. So hand it over. Oh, yes, of course. No, don't give it to him. It's mine, that is. Mine. I'm sorry, miss. But anything belonging to McGilded has to be taken in as evidence now. As evidence. If the police demand something as evidence, my dear fellow, we have no choice but to capitulate. It's all yours, Inspector. And so we handed Mr. McGilded's disc over to Inspector Gregson and were summarily drove out of the shop and onto the street. To be continued. If I had known that, I would have played the last 10 minutes of that bit of the episode. But okay. Next time I know. I know. I won't remember though. But oh well. 15th of April, Baker Street. See? That's why I hate grown-ups. All they do is feed you a bag of lies and take stuff away from you. Oh really, Miss Lestrade? Tell me, is that overcoat keeping you warm? What? Oh my, surely you were given that. Yeah, the deal, and keep it after I looked daggers in him for long enough. He went through the pockets, said go on then, have it, before telling me to scrape. Always pays off, giving people a look like you ate them. And they're feeling that it's going to get you into serious trouble one day. Probably, yeah. What I really wanted was that nice shiny disc mine. The music box disc. But Mr. Windybank said it was perfectly worthless. I think I'm gonna go and have another bash. Give him a long hard stare. I think not, Miss Lestrade. We shan't ever enter Windybanks again today. Why not? That's not fair. Can't be helped, I'm afraid. The police are investigating the scene now and taking a statement from Mr. Windybank. But the disc's mine. I had the ticket for the skirt and it was in the skirt's pocket. And there should be something else and all. That's what that rotten cough said, ain't it? Yes, he did mention something about another article, didn't he? Well then, that's mine too. Whatever it is. Now she's really pushing her luck. Miss Lestrade, I think it's time to admit defeat. You've had your haul for the day. Yeah, and it's all your fault, Sholmes. So, what are your plans now? Will you dine with us this evening? Eh? Iris would be delighted to cook, I'm sure, and I might entertain you with a modest violin recital. No, oh. Why would I come round your place, eh? Have you lost your head or something? Oh dear, she's gone. Having reviled on me Quite unnecessarily, I might add. I can't help wondering if perhaps she might turn up anyway. Interesting. Once she's had a chance to calm down, I think there's a good chance she'll decide to come. Very well then. I'll inform Iris to set a place for our potential guest at the dinner table this evening. And one more thing. I should be glad of your company later. Sorry? I believe I will have a rather splendid surprise to show you. Oh, how exciting! What is it? You shall have to wait and see, Mr. Supper. Until later then. I don't think there's anything to explore, so can't go there. Let's go there. Let's go back to Sholmes' apartment. Sholmes' suite. Hi, Susie and Bruno. Come in, come in. Good afternoon, Iris. Thank you so much for breakfast this morning. Oh, don't mention it. Goodness, look at the time already. Busy as always. I am. I'm preparing everything for dinner this evening. Already, you're obviously cooking something special, are you? Oh yes, after all, we have a special guest joining us. Guess who it is? Go on. You'll never guess. Look at those little eyes of hers shining. Oh dear, it is awkward when you already know the answer, isn't it? It's Ginny, isn't that exciting? Oh, what a surprise! Yes, that's wonderful news. Wow, Iris seems overjoyed at the idea. Can't wait to learn some pickpocketing tips from a real professional. Oh, yes, that sounds like fun. I'm not sure that's entirely appropriate. Are you, Mr. Naruhodo? By the way, Iris, what's Mr. Sholmes up to? Hurley? Oh, he's been like that ever since he got back. Hello, Mr. Sholmes. I beg that you won't speak to me. Sorry? I don't know who you are, but kindly take your leave. As you can see, I'm not here. I don't know how to respond to that. I do apologize. When he gets like this, he's completely oblivious to everything. Yes, I see. Really, he behaves just like a child sometimes. Well, he does. Mr. Sholmes and Iris have something of a parent and child relationship, don't they? Yes, except that Iris is clearly the parent here. Come to think of it, I wonder where her real parents are. What's the matter, Bruno? You have ever such a funny look on your face. Oh no, it's nothing. I know what it is. Why does this girl live here with Mr. Sholmes, you're wondering, am I right? How? How did you... Oh, Bruno, I can read you like a book. This girl is dangerous. Don't worry, you can ask me anything. I don't mind. Sure. Ginny. So, by Ginny you mean Miss Lestrade, the young woman from the McGilded case 2 months ago, right? Yes, who also stole my experimental smoke grenade launcher. Although after that trial I invited her back here and we had dinner together. And now we're the bestest of friends. Oh, what a lovely tale. Yes, now if I bump into her on the street, she runs away as fast as she can. Oh. And I chase after her down the back alleys. Interesting idea of friendship. Oh, that's for sure, yeah. And then I let her have the latest color of smoke grenade I've developed. Okay. Oh. There are so many beautiful colors in the world. Ginny wants me to make a whole rainbow. I suppose this means you've let Miss Lestrade keep the smoke grenade launcher, have you? Yes, that's right. I got bored of it anyway. Hurley always reacted the same way when I shoot him with it now. Poor Hurley. Oh, I can't wait for Ginny to arrive. It's been too long since she last came over. I'm so excited. I just hope she does actually come. Living with Sholmes. I'm sure you've been wondering why it is that I live here with Hurley, haven't you? Well, it has crossed my mind, yes, that, and where are your real parents? My mummy and daddy aren't with me anymore. Mummy passed away when I was born, and around the same time, my father, well, he had to go to a faraway land because of one of the cases he and Hurley worked on. Oh. Wait a minute. Did you say he and Hurley? Yes. Daddy and Hurley were always solving mystery cases together. She didn't mention that before. He wrote them all up in his diaries. That's what's in the metal chest over there. Really? He recorded them all? So, you mean it's true? Mr. Sholmes really did have a partner with whom he tackled some of his most taxing cases? Oh yes, I mean, it's always nice to have one, isn't it? So Mr. Sholmes' partner was your father? Exactly. Hurley told me I wasn't allowed to look in the chest, but that only made me want to look even more, so I opened it up and found your father's memoirs. Yes, so I asked Hurley, who wrote these? He nearly fell off his chair. But then he told me. That's when I found out that the author of all those accounts was my father. So Iris's father was Mr. Sholmes' partner. I've practically lived with Hurley all my life. I was tiny when he took me in. So it came as quite a shock. When Hurley told me he wasn't really my daddy, I mean, it must have been. I wonder why Mr. Sholmes chose to tell you, and at such a young age. Hurley says it's because he wouldn't have been able to hide it from me. Oh? Well, having lived with Hurley all these years, you might say that his way have rubbed off on me. There are some things I can just see. Especially lies. I almost know when people are lying before they open their mouths sometimes. Right. Anyway, I was so fascinated when I read Daddy's diaries. That's what inspired me to write The Adventures of Sherlock Sholmes, actually. I'd always assumed Mr. Sholmes simply told you all those thrilling stories. Oh no, Hurley's hopeless like that. He forgets everything as soon as he's solved a case. It all but vanishes from his mind. Oh, I see. The other day, it was so embarrassing. As usual, he totally forgot about the case he just solved. So, the very next day, he gathered together all the people involved and proceeded to solve the case again. It was quite a shock for everyone. You can say that again. You share your father's surname, don't you, Iris? That's right. Wilson. Daddy's Dr. John H. Wilson. I learned from his diaries that he's a doctor of medicine, you see. That's what promoted me to study and study so I could earn a doctorate as well. Iris's father, who went to some distant land, and is a doctor by the name of John H. Wilson. The court will now hear the trial of Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Kindly state before the court the name of the victim in this case. The victim's name was Dr. John H. Wilson. Oh. 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 I forgot about that one. That's right, visiting professor of medicine at Imperial Yume University. And the man who, in the most bizarre circumstances, lost his life just before we left Japan. Miss Susato. Yes. Perhaps we shouldn't pursue this conversation any further at this time. I think that would be for the best. Let me open a window. Alright. Ah, my dear fellows, how good to see you. Mr. Sholmes, why ever did you not make your presence known to me before? Ah, well, no matter now. So, how the devil are you? We've been with you for most of the day. Goodness, really? Do tell me, Mr. Sholmes, is your violin unscathed? My violin? Whatever are you talking about, dear madame? Oh, never mind that now. I have something far more interesting to show you. Behold, my dear fellows. Oh, another music box disc? No, not another disc, Miss Susato. This is the one Gregson demanded we hand over as evidence. Mr. McGilded's disc. Oh my! Then what's it doing here? You know, at times, Mr. Naruhodo, I think that though I have an undeniable turn for detection, I may well be even more adept at larceny. Oh, that would be wonderfully exciting. I'd be your pickpocketing assistant. And Bruno could be our go-to lawyer if we ever got caught. Right. Plus, Susie has such beautiful handwriting, she would write our menacing crime notification. Yes, I'd be delighted. I'm just going to pretend this conversation never happened, I think. Yeah. Alright, so you're back and ready? I don't understand. How did that disc come to be in your possession? I thought Inspector Gregson took it back to Scotland Yard. Quite correct. And that sort of uncompromising attitude is precisely why I always carry some of this. What? Sholmes? Caramel? That's above caramel, Mr. Sholmes. Your one and only friend in times of loneliness, if I'm not mistaken. If you will humour me, my dear fellows, cast your minds back to when the good detective confiscated the disc. I'll be taking that, whatever it is, of Mr. McGill. It's down to the yard. Thank you very much. So hand it over. Oh, yes, of course. If the police demand something as evidence, my dear fellow, we have no choice but to capitulate. It's all yours, Inspector. For the briefest of moments, I had the desk in my hand, did I not? Yes, you did, but I still don't understand. It was at precisely that moment that I summoned my one and only friend into action. I pressed the disc into a pair of bars like this. That's amazing. What? The disc and all the minuscule protrusions have made an image in the caramel. Indeed, this caramel is quite exceptional. I developed it myself, you know. Suitably soft for making impressions, but resistant to melting, the result of precisely controlled solution. How extraordinary! Carrying a pair of these on one's person frequently proves very useful indeed. Take a house key, for example. A simple press and its unique form is duplicated. I can enter anyone's property at will, and never without high sucrose nourishment. Yikes. Yes, it sounds illegal. From the image, I was able to create this. I confess I was most curious to know what manner of music would issue from the disc when played. So tell me. Do tell us then, Mr. Sholmes, what music does the disc play? Well, unfortunately, I have no idea. No idea. None whatsoever. Are you familiar with the workings of a music box, my dear fellow? No, I'm afraid not. Goodness, you don't know, Runa? Oh yeah, I thought so. Inside a music box there's a special metal piece called a comb. That's what produces the sound. Small protuberances block the different teeth of the comb as they rotate past it, making the different notes. The first music box to be invented used a rotating cylinder with protuberances on it. But over time a new type of player was produced which uses discs such as these. With that development, the popularity of music boxes spread far and wide all around the globe. I know the tubular ones. I have never seen the disc ones. I think somewhere I have one of those mini music players, but never seen the disc ones. Why exactly? And because the discs are easy to produce and can be interchanged to facilitate the playing of different tunes. There are a great many firms in Europe now manufacturing music boxes as a result. It is wonderful to be able to enjoy music even when no performer is present. But it is the very success of the invention that means we are now presented with an insurmountable problem. What do you mean? As you may imagine, the construction of one's first music box does not match that of another. And we have no way of knowing in which music box this particular disc was designed to be played. There is no resolution to this problem, I'm afraid. It's quite intractable. Ah, I see, so that's why. Naturally, I tested the disc in those few music boxes I have at my disposal. But as you can hear, to no avail. The results were equally unsatisfactory in this one, so I am presently engaged in acquiring an example of all the music boxes ever made in Europe. What? Every single one? That's early for you, always taking things too far. But my dear girl, an unsolved riddle is quite repugnant to my constitution. But surely all the different types in Europe will amount to a huge volume of music boxes, won't it? Yes, that is certainly true. In the worst case, I shall just have to ask you to vacate the attic room. What? Magnus McGill, not a name I expected to hear again so soon. Yes, it's only been 2 months since that grisly case. Mr. McGilded perished within hours of the trial's conclusion. Was it the curse of the Reaper? No one knows. Still now, the omnibus was reduced to a pile of ash. Not a shred of evidence remained. And with the man's death, the truth about the murder in which he was so intimately involved was buried. Even though we successfully established Mr. McGilded's innocence in the trial, the newspapers are still claiming that it remains an unsolved case. The murder of the brickmaker, Mr. Thrice-Fired Mason. In the end, the truth of the matter remains a mystery. We still have no idea what really happened that night. And although Mr. McGilded was found not guilty through my defense, I still don't know if that was the right judgment or not. No, it wasn't. It would appear the case is not yet closed. Well, it's time I started getting things ready for dinner, I think. Ginny will be here before long. Thank you, Iris. Oh, well, you must let me help you then. Of course, Susie, there's plenty to do. I think I shall investigate the condition of my faithful performing partner. Now then, where did I leave it? Let this be a lesson to you, Mr. Sholmes. Never leave anything too precious with the pawnbroker. Yes, you may be right. Oh, that reminds me of something Mr. Windybank said before. He said that he had a manuscript of Iris's in pawn, didn't he? Did he? Yes, he definitely mentioned it. Mr. Sholmes' latest tale of otherworldly mysteries lies dormant in my storeroom, where his worth, I believe. So you heard about that, did you? I expect you were as incensed as I was. Oh, yes, the idea of such a wonderful story languishing in Mr. Windybank's storeroom gathering dust. My dear madame, I'm quite sure I told you already. The pawnbroker's storeroom is the safest place for it, more secure than a bank's vault. And what about your Stradivarius, Hurley? Was that safe and secure? Well, it was. He just took the wrong instrument. Well, there may be the occasional mix-up, which was your own fault, caused by a certain impetuous someone not too far from me now. Yes. Do you have any idea how long it took me to write that basketball story, Hurley? Oh, it sounds so exciting, The Hound of the Baskervilles. I should love to read it. Oh. What's going on here? Why does it feel like an icy chill just swept through the room? Susie, what did you just say? You said The Hound of the Baskervilles. But how could you know the full title? Well, that's because Mr. Soto is such a great fan of all the stories about Mr. Sholmes, of course. But Bruno, The Hound of the Baskervilles has never been published. What? When I showed Hurley the manuscript, he told me that I wasn't allowed to publish it yet. I don't understand. I do. That's why he said that he'd keep it safe until it was the right time for the story to be made public, you see. So that's why the manuscript is at the Windybanks. And yet, how could Susie here know its title? Well, Hurley, what's going on? Ah! What is it, Mr. Sholmes? It would appear our guest has arrived. Miss Lestrade! This was a bad idea. I knew I weren't welcome. I'm going. No, wait, Miss Lestrade. We've all been eagerly awaiting your arrival. Haven't we, Iris? Oh yes, just wait there, Ginny. We'll have everything ready in a jiffy. Come along, Susie. Right, of course. It's a pleasure to see you here, Miss Lestrade. Please make yourself at home. Go and stand in the doorway, my dear girl. Come along in. What say you to some Mendelssohn? I don't take no for an answer. Meddlesome it is, then. Oh, Kitty's back. I forgot your name. Vagai, right? Meow. That evening, Iris prepared us all a meal that was even more delicious than usual. Mr. Sholmes' violin performance was in no way meddlesome, and Gina, as we came to call her, taught us all how to steal things from one another without being noticed. Everyone thoroughly enjoyed themselves well into the night. Meadows Legal Consultancy. That was a very enjoyable evening, wasn't it? Oh yes, Iris's cooking was truly divine. And I feel as though I can still hear the enchanting strains of Mr. Sholmes's violin even now. Best of all, I bet I could steal the glasses from his lordship's face next time we're in court. Yeah, maybe don't. Naruhodo-san. Could I consult with you about something, I wonder? What's the matter, Susato-san? It's about the telegram I received. Ah! The one that arrived first thing this morning, I suppose? I've been summoned. What? Summoned? What do you mean? The telegram was from the Lord Chief Justice's office. Lord Strongheart has asked to see me. The Lord Chief Justice? When? Tomorrow morning. What? Then we have to start preparing at once. Oh, no. That won't be necessary, Naruhodo-san. I've been summoned alone. Alone? What on earth for? I have no idea. I suppose I shall find out tomorrow. What's all this about? Whatever it is, it's making me feel very uneasy. Oh, who could that be, I wonder? Good evening, friends! Ah, Iris. Hello again. And Gina too. Yes, Ginny's going to stay with us tonight. She's going to sleep in with me. Isn't that right, Ginny? Well, yeah. How lovely. Let me make a pot of tea. You know, I've learned so much today. Oh, what in particular? All those things Ginny showed us, wasn't it wonderful? Ah, you mean all those pickpocketing techniques? We had fun trying them out on each other, didn't we? I think I've awakened a natural talent. I could earn a living from it. You might be getting ahead of yourself a little there. So, what brings you up to our humble quarters at this late hour? Well, you see, I came to return this. Wait, what? That's mine. Oh my, however did you? I told you, didn't I? I have a natural talent for it. Oh yes, I'd forgot. Iris literally is a child genius. So anyway, here, you can have it back. Not that I really understand why you wear it though. Ah, thank you. Alright then, good night. Yes. Good night. It's Memento, goddammit. Oh. So this is your office, is it? I've been living here for 2 months and you've never been up here? What do you think, Jenny? I think I wouldn't fancy me chances with a lawyer what lives in a place like this. Yes, me too. Thanks. It seems as though Iris here still has something she'd like to talk about. I suppose she probably wants to talk about the manuscript. Yes, I suppose she probably does. The manuscript. You know what? Let me... The cooler's getting on my nerves. Just a tiny little bit lower. That's better. It was so loud. Okay. The manuscript. Iris, I suppose you're hoping to talk about the manuscript, aren't you? Aren't you going to tell me? I'm so sorry. I need a little more time. Please. Alright, I understand. I hope I haven't made you feel awkward. Oh no, not at all, Iris. Not at all. I don't know what all this is about, but it's a story you made up, is it? Iris? Oh. This mental script, or whatever it's called. It's not exactly a story that I made up. It's something I read in Daddy's diaries. Daddy's? That's right. I don't suppose I've mentioned it to you before, Ginny, but my daddy was Hurley's assistant once. His partner. Eh? They solved all sorts of strange and mysterious cases together. Is that right, mister? Apparently so. I was as surprised as you are, though. And Daddy wrote all the details of every single case down, you see, in his diaries. So I study them and write my stories based on what actually happened. So, where's your old man now, then? He had to go away on urgent business to a faraway land, and he'll be gone a very long time. Shouldn't he have been brought back, though? Am I completely off, but shouldn't his corpse be brought back to Japan to be buried in his to London, to England, to be buried in his home country? Isn't that customary? Am I that far off? Or shouldn't there have been a letter detailing what happened been sent to his family? And his only remaining family is Iris and his friend Herlock Sholmes, who's taking care of his only daughter. Am I wrong? So I've never really met him. Or was that partially why Herlock was in Japan? To take care of the funeral? Oh, right. Come to think of it, I don't know anything about Gina's parents either. Perhaps we should ask her? Iris, this Hound of the Baskervilles story, I take it that it's another tale inspired by your father's accounts? That's right. I thought it was fascinating. But it's different somehow from the other cases, I mean. Oh? How? I don't really know, but it must be special in some way. Because after I'd written it and showed the manuscript to Hurley, he turned as white as a sheet. It was the first time I've ever seen him like that. It pains me to have to say this, but after you've toiled over it for so long, Iris, but the story must not be published at this time, under any circumstances. But why not? It's one of my best works. I'm not at liberty to say. Not now. So, please, do not ask me. Alright then, I won't. But I do solemnly swear that I will explain everything one day, Iris, when the time is right. And that's how the manuscript came to be with Mr. Winterbanks, isn't it? Yes. Hurley said it had to be somewhere very safe. That really gets my goat, that does. It's treating her like a child. It's mean. That's what it is. Keeping secrets like that. I'm sure Mr. Sholmes isn't trying to be mean. If he said he wasn't at liberty to talk about it, I'm sure there must have been a very good reason. I think so too. So do I. Even though I don't think he's a great detective, but he is not one to lie about anything. So if there's something stopping him from having that story published, there's probably some information about a case or an organization or something that could be a danger to... I forgot her name again. To little girl's life or his own, then he would make sure that this story is not published unless it's safe. You lot are too trusting for your own good. Hey Erica, how you doing? It's been a while. And now I'm getting gas attacks by my dogs. But it can't bore the wool over my eyes. Sholmes is lying to Iris. I bet my life on it. What? Hurley's lying to me? I don't think so. What is this letter, by the way? I want to know. Bruno, what are you doing? Look, I'm not gonna steal nothing, alright? It's all junk anyway. Charming. I suppose I should engage our guests in conversation, really. Oh, come on. I just wanted to see what that letter is all about. It's blue, so it's pretty. Your parents. Tell me about your parents. I've realized that I don't know anything about your parents, Gina. I ain't got any of it. I ain't got any of it, have I? Never did have. Oh. Look, these stands full of orphans like me. No one wants nothing to do with us from the minute we're born, not even our mums. But we all stick together. How has your week been? I've been actually quite productive this week. I'm alright. I don't have any voice. That's all. Like always when I read visual novels, I don't know. It's the visual novel sickness that's ruining my voice. That's all. I don't know why though. It's probably because I have to constantly read, so it dries out my throat, which leads to me being voiceless. The older ones look after the little ones and make sure they get by. So that's why you're a pickpocket. Nah. Diving's my life. I love it. I get a kick out of it every time I lift some pompous idiot's purse. That's how we all afford to eat. I'm like Robin Hood, ain't I? That's how I see it. Oh, Gina. That's good. At least you're taking breaks. Taking care of yourself. That's important. I do think about it sometimes. What it'd be like to have parents. I mean, I always thought it'd make everything right. But having listened to what Iris just said, it sounds like having parents ain't always easy either. I have my water and stuff nearby, so I have enough to liquids nearby, but yeah. I should probably get some tea as well, but not now. It's going to be fine when I stop recording, stop streaming, and I don't have to constantly read. I don't know why, but it actually strains my voice more to read the whole time than to talk for 2 hours straight. I always come out of visual novel streams more tired and voiceless than if I play any other games. Yes, I know that I'm not the most talkative on stream, but I do try to keep talking most of the time if I'm not too focused. But I guess because I do try to give the characters some voices, it does strain my voice more, so I can understand where it's coming from, but it's still annoying to know that for some reason my voice gets more strained because I'm reading, even though reading should be less straining. I don't know. Doesn't make sense, but could be worse. And today it finally cooled down a bit. There's a nice wind going through here, so I have to enjoy that and keep reading. Oh, I mean, if you know you never had them, you don't feel like you're always wanting to meet them. It's true. I do want to see Daddy so much. Oh, Iris. Yep. We're not telling her that her daddy is dead. Not happening. I'm not doing it. You do it. Sholmes' lie. Gina, what did you mean when you said that you know Mr. Sholmes is lying to Iris? Well, he reckons I popped that manuscript or whatever, right? But come on, that's obviously a load of rubbish. Why? Why would you think that, Gina? It's simple. If that story was ever really in old Windybank's storeroom, there's no way someone from halfway around the world, in other words, you, could know about it. She snuck in there? Sorry, Iris, but if you ask me, he sold it. Without telling you. But Hurley would never do something like that. I'm sure of it. Grown-ups do a lot worse than that. Believe me. Bare-faced liars. A lot of them. You just ain't realized it yet. I'm telling ya, that mantle script aimed at Windybanks. You'd soon see if you add a look. Okay, go on. Even if you think you can trust him, I don't. That Sholmes is a liar like the rest of them. If I'm honest, I have wondered if Hurley is telling me the truth sometimes. See... Oh, but I don't mean that I think he sold it. I mean that I sometimes wonder if he might have hidden my manuscript somewhere I don't know. Even though it's wrong of me to doubt him. Don't be too hard on yourself, Iris. Oh my goodness, look at the time! Come along, Jenny, we should go back downstairs. Yeah, alright. And please, don't mention any of this to Hurley, will you? No, of course not. Good night then, Iris. Good night, Gina. You must let me make breakfast for you tomorrow morning. I insist. Oh, yes, please. I can't wait, Susie. Good night, then. Night. Iris, it sure is easy to forget, isn't it? Sometimes she speaks just like an adult, but deep down she's still just a child. Well, I think it's time that I turned in for the night too, Naruhodo-san. I am wondering where their sleeping quarters are. Dr. John H. Wilson, Iris's father, but also the name of the murdered visiting professor at UMA University. It can't be a mere coincidence. There's something deeper going on. Seriously, why are they all connecting everything now, in the last chapter? Couldn't they have done that before? Now I feel like I have to play the second game as well. Mr. Naruhodo? Mr. Naruhodo? That voice, that's Mr. Sholmes. What's going on? It's the middle of the night. It's Miss Lestrade. She's gone. Gina! She was supposed to be sleeping in Iris's room, but her bed is empty. Well, she's an independent young woman. She probably decided to go home now. I think not. From speaking to her before she retired, I received the distinct impression that she was looking forward to breakfast with Miss Susato. No, I don't believe the girl has gone home, but I've been waiting for over an hour now. Over an hour? Oh. If you'll indulge me, look out the window, my dear fellow. I see nothing. What's this about? Yeah, I thought so. Wait a minute, why is there a light on at this time of night? That's Mr. Windybank's pawnbrokery. Mr. Windybank's... Oh no. It's simple. If that story was really in old Windybank's storeroom, there's no way someone from halfway around the world, in other words, you, could know about it. Sorry, Iris, but if you ask me, he sold it. Without telling you. Could Gina have gone? It seems you have some knowledge of the situation, Mr. Naruto. Sorry? Oh, no, not really. Well, anyway, we must investigate. At once. Miss Susato. Hey there. 16th of April, 1:14 AM, Baker Street. The door to Windybanks is open. And the lamp is burning. It must be Gina, mustn't it? Let us hope it's nothing more sinister. What? Come, there's not a moment to lose. Clearly something is afoot inside. There's no one here. Oh, yes. There is. Mr. Sholmes! Mr. Sholmes! What the? Has Sholmes been shot? Leave me, Mr. Naruto. But... after them! Go! Right. Blast. I've lost them. Hello? Hello? What have we here? The alarm was just raised from this pawnbroker, sir. Would you know something about that? Officer, come with me. It's my friend, Mr. Sholmes. He's been shot. Shot! With the policeman close behind me, I run back to Windybanks.
Mr. Sholmes!
Mr. Naruto!
How bad is it?
Never mind me, but there's much at stake. Behind that door. In the storeroom. Hurry!
Shot from behind? And Gina's in there too?
It's
Okay.
Gina!
Well, since she's unconscious, I don't think she's responsible. Yes, please. Beep. Eh? What? I'll be alright, Mr. Naruto. Ah, a recap. After them, go! Behind that door, in the storeroom. Hurry! It's Gina? That would have been the perfect end for a stream and the new beginning for a new chapter. For a new part. From that moment, Windybank's pawnbrokery became a crime scene. Everything that followed happened in a whirlwind of activity. The arrival of the police, the preliminary investigation of the scene and the questioning. It was just before dawn before I was allowed back to my lodgings at 221B. "16th of April, 6:21 AM, Naruto's Legal Consultancy." Oh, Iris. a telegram came, but all it said was, "Wait at home." Oh, yes, we asked one of the policemen to have it sent. It was simply impossible to come back. When I woke up, I was all alone. Hurley and Ginny were gone. Everyone was gone. What happened, Bruno? Poor Iris, she's trembling. She's obviously trying very hard not to let herself get too worried. I'll explain everything that I know. Something awful has happened, hasn't it? Yes, I'm afraid so. Events at Windybanks. I'm sorry to have to tell you this, Iris, but Mr. Windybank is dead. He was shot. We discovered it in the early hours of the morning. Oh, yes, I had a feeling. You did? Well, I saw all those police carriages pulling up outside his shop, so I knew something must have happened there. When we entered Windybanks in the small hours, we disturbed a gang of 2 thugs. They ran out onto the street and chased after them, but they got away. So it was one of them who shot old Mr. Windybank, I suppose? Oh, yeah, the poor thing. I don't know, but that's not what the police believe at the moment. Oh, why not? They've arrested someone else as their prime suspect, you see. Gina. Ginny? But why? Well, the thing is, she's in love with Harry Potter, and that is not a good thing. I'm so not for that pairing. No! Ginny wouldn't do something like that. I know. None of us think she did it. Then why have they arrested her? As I said, she's in love with Harry Potter, and that pairing sucks. I'm sorry. There was nothing else I could do. Okay, let's go with that. I don't understand why they arrested Ginny. It's not fair. What about the 2 thugs that were at the scene? Why aren't they the prime suspects? After all, they shot Hurley dead, didn't they? No, I mean Mr. Sholmes isn't dead, Iris. Ah, this is all so horrible. Thing is, Mr. Windybank was found on the floor in the storeroom where he keeps all the deposited articles. Atos! And the storeroom door was locked from the inside. You could easily close that thing if there was this a similar mechanism to the boat. You could easily pull that, push that from through that trapdoor thing. I don't know what's it called. I see. But he wasn't alone in there, and Gina was found next to him on the floor as well. Oh no. And according to the detective who investigated afterwards, it was! In the book, I don't know. Did I read the part in the book? I probably skipped most of it, but I don't think in the book it was any better. It felt so forced. He was, I don't know, in the 4th movie and book, he was in love with Cho-chan. Then in the 5th one, Who was it in the fifth one? I think it went to... I know there was that the... Wow, now I have to remember the book order. No, the fourth one was the thing where the schools battled it out, right? And then the fifth one, I think it suddenly turned to Ginny. And then in the sixth, they were married and had kids. I was like, okay, no, I don't see it at all. It was puppy love from the movies. It was puppy love. In Ginny's case, she was admiring him, and it was more fangirling than real natural feelings of romance, of love. But then suddenly they end up together. What the hell? What's wrong? I also felt that the pairing of Ron and Hermione was... yeah, but okay, that's personal, I guess, but they just do not suit each other at all. But it was at least a more natural growth than the Ginny Harry pairing, because that was like, okay, they've never met, they've met 3 times and now they're in love with each other. What? Well, and according to the detectives who investigated afterwards, don't tell me there was no one else in the room? Yes, exactly. How did you know? It's the only explanation. Yes, the only explanation indeed. Do you mean by that, Bruno? Well, what can I say? I'm damned if I agree, damned if I don't. So, where's Hurley then? Is he still there investigating the scene? Well, according to the cutscene, he wasn't shot at all. There was some blood, but I didn't see any wound on his body. I don't know where the blood came from. He really ought to have some breakfast. It's not good for him to miss meals. I don't want to worry you, Iris, but I have some news about Mr. Sholmes. He was taken to the hospital this morning. What? Oh. I'm joking on my own breath. Ignore me. Okay, well, when we entered Windybank's, gun was fired and he took a bullet. Hurley was shot. No. No. It's all right. His life isn't in danger. Really? Are you sure? Where is he? Which hospital? He's at St. Sinners? Very fitting. They're tending to him there. I must see him at once. I'm sorry, Iris, but you can't. Why not? That's not fair. I'm a family member. I should be allowed. No. I mean, nobody can see him at the moment. He's not allowed any visitors. They're preparing to operate, you see. To operate? Oh, poor Hurley. It was the 2 thugs who were in Mr. Windybanks' shop. They shot Mr. Sholmes when we disturbed them, you see. Now I'm wondering, shouldn't they have heard the shot that killed Mr. Windybanks unless that shot was perfectly timed with the shot towards Mr. Sholmes. There's no way in hell they haven't heard it. They live 2 doors down. It was pitch black inside the shop at the time. My mind went totally blank, I'm afraid. I just froze. After them! Go! But isn't it normally the other way around? But yeah, it definitely is more natural because they actually get to know each other, spend time with each other, and, well, I guess spend even more time with each other than Harry and Hermione, because they have their own thing going on while Harry is off saving the world, I guess. But yeah, that is such a strange setup though. I hated in these romance stories when there's like this one guy that's always bullying the girl, and you know that it's just because he likes her, and it's like, okay, just tell her, goddammit, stop being a nuisance and open your goddamn mouth and just tell her. It might be not. It's probably too late now. She probably hates you already, but at least you had the courage and told her instead of this bullcrap. Yeah. Especially, it suddenly turned so possessive in the last 2 movies. From Ron's side, yes, he was polluted by that Horcrux as well, but I hate possessiveness. Yeah, not my thing. And yeah, they didn't really play off of each other. It was more a motherly kind of relationship. Hermione took care of the two, and they listened to her. I don't know. It wasn't... In terms of romance, it definitely wasn't the best series. I actually would have preferred if the story... if Harry would have ended up with Cho-chan. Yeah, there were some instances where I was like, alright, just talk to each other. Please. Communication. Yeah, I don't know. So frustrating in all kinds of stories when just one good conversation could solve the whole crisis of a movie, and then you have stories and movies like After, is that the name, where you have a mentally damaged, emotionally damaged male protagonist, and I'm like, okay, send him to the next therapist. And if that therapist deems him able to live on his own without hurting himself or others, then maybe consider a relationship, but not like that. Nah. After that, I ran out into the street, but, well, they were long gone. I shouldn't have hesitated. I'm so sorry. It's my fault. I let them get away. I think that's a very good thing. Sorry? Well, if you'd seen which way they went and chased after them, you might have been shot as well, Rona. On top of everything else, I couldn't bear that. Oh, Iris. Yes. So true. Getting to know boundaries in a relationship is so important. Not that I know much about relationships, but friendships are pretty much the same. They just don't have the romantic part in it. Any kind of relationship needs boundaries. Yeah, playful teasing, as long as you know that the person can take it, is fine. There are some people that can't take any kind of teasing. And you should be careful with those people. But other than that, go for it. As long as no one is hurt, it's fine. We're drifting off again. Okay, Suseta situation. Yes, what's going on with Suseta-san? Where's Susie, Bruno? She's still at the police station. Oh, why? I expect she's still being questioned. The police said they wouldn't be finished for a while. Why aren't you there then? Well, I didn't get a good look at the criminals anyway, so they weren't questioning me for long. Shouldn't they question you for longer than they should? Suseta-san? Suseta was just in the store trying to... what's it called? To still the bleeding, to stop the bleeding from a wound I still don't know where it's supposed to be located at. You got at least a glimpse of those people? Am I completely off here? But doesn't it make more sense to question the person that... Oh well. Oh well. This game does not make sense. Don't try to use logic. Just don't. And Miss Suseta-san stayed behind. Miss Suseta stayed behind at the scene to tend to Mr. Sholmes, so they didn't get started until later. Ah, I see. Besides, one of us had to come back to be with Iris. I guess. I'm glad Inspector Gregson agreed to me leaving early. You should have let me know, and I would have come to the station. We could totally open a podcast. A very one-sided one, I guess. Since you don't like to use voice chat that much. So but we could totally do that. I would be down. I'm afraid I'll need to go out again now, Iris. There's not much I can do at the moment, but I can at least try to find out how Mr. Sholmes and Gina are getting on. I want to go too. Take me with you, Bruno. I can't just sitting here waiting. I'm not sure how I feel about making a 10-year-old child to the scene of a murder. Well, we've done worse. But... well, we can plan it. We have time. But I don't want to leave her all alone here either. Alright then, Iris. Perhaps you can help me? Oh, yes, I'd love to. Gina's at the prison. Mr. Sholmes is probably in his hospital bed. But what would it be about? That's a good question. Video games? Video game characters? Relationship? Interpersonal relationships? Intrapersonal relationships? And don't forget, we have to visit the crime scene. We need to conduct a thorough investigation. We actually get a good Sherlock Holmes, I mean, Iris Watson. A person that actually can get a good grasp of the situation. And make correct deductions, so we don't have to correct anything. Isn't that awesome? Ah, I can see you're already ready for action. I imagine Iris would appreciate going to the hospital sooner rather than later. Alright, a new location has been added. Okay. Let's go to the hospital first. St. Sinner's Hospital, Ward 3, 16th of April. Hurley! Oh. He's not here? No, that's strange. The nurse definitely said he was in the bed by the window, didn't she? Oh, I know what's probably happened. Hurley was being a big baby, and the bullet wound wasn't that bad after all, so he's been sent home. True. But then we still need to limit it to games we've played or watched someone else play. Or we could, of course, use games I'm currently playing and play off of that. I don't know. I'm not so sure about that, baby or not. There's no question that it was a fairly serious injury that Mr. Sholmes suffered. Oh. Hello, what have we here? This ward is off limits, no visiting, so what are you doing in here, huh? Well, I have you know, Mr. Hurley's, we're Hurley's next of kin. Oh, well, begging your pardon then, mum, sir. A little lady and a curious Eastern gentleman with a great mystery solver as a mysterious family, yeah? If that's how you see us, sure. Where is he, Constable? Where's Hurley? I believe he is currently in the operating theatre, ma'am, and undergoing an extensive operation. Extensive? It has been several hours since he went in. Oh dear, is he going to be alright? Well, it doesn't appear to be working, you see. The anesthetic, that is. Oh! I've heard a report that the gentleman claims he may have had a little too much to drink last night. Coffee, that is. Sure. Let's leave it at coffee. Very believable with that character. Anyway, I think it would be fair to assume that he won't be back here for several hours yet. I see. Thank you, Constable. Perhaps we should leave and come back later. Oh, poor Hurley. Let's go to the prison then. Local prison. Cell 13. Wasn't whatever his name was also in cell 13? I could be wrong. We just need to think about when we would record it. Hello, Gina. What? She's still armed while in prison? What? Oh, you still have the grenade launcher Hurley and I made? I wish she wouldn't point it at me all the time, though. What are you here for? Ginny, I have a feeling it's because of us that you've ended up in trouble. So we were thinking that we might be able to help you. Well, you can't. Sorry. Yard, get lost. Probably in the back, but you do know they can hide everything, everywhere. They all have these magic bags that are part of the Wizarding world. Don't be like that, Ginny. I know you didn't do it. You'd never shoot someone. I just know you wouldn't. You think you know me? Pull the other one. Oh. You ain't got the first idea about the likes of me. I'm a thief. I pinch people's purses when they're walking down the street. That's how I get by. And I saw me chance. I sneaked into a pawn shop any day of the week. Just to see what I can lay my hands on. Get it? That's the kind of person I am. But Ginny, What is she trying to protect Iris from, I wonder? Because it doesn't make sense right now. I want context. Tell me, why is she reacting that way? Why? Should we send Iris home? I would love those bags. If they are not heavy, if they're just, I don't know, like the normal weight of an empty bag, and you could put anything in there, that would be lovely. I keep breaking my bag just taking all my equipment to work, because I take my tablet, my 2 tablets, multiple chargers, my phone of course, sometimes my Switch, just to use the time wisely while I have to wait for customers. But Ginny, I'll be in court tomorrow, they said. Some cop came by and said he'd be a lawyer for me or the like. Said it was my right or something. But I told him to get stuffed. I don't need no lawyer. I don't need no one. She couldn't be staring at me any more obviously if she tried. Why are you being like this, Ginny? I'll be your lawyer, don't worry. I don't understand, Gina. Why did you send the public defender away? He wanted me to sign some papers. Representation papers or something like that. It's all gonna be rigged anyway, the whole trial. They'll pin it on me because I'm a kid. That's what grown-ups always do. Why do you think that? Iris. She grew up on the street. She doesn't know any other way. She just knows grown-ups hate orphans like her and always work against her. Although that's not entirely true, but that's how it comes across. That they're overbearing and trying to command her. So in this case, I actually have to give props to the game for accuracy. Good job, game. Why do you think that? Because that's how it's always been for me, growing up in the back slums me whole life. If you do what the grown-ups tell ya, it'll get ya mates dragged off by the coppers. Always. It had happened to me before and all. Been sold out and nearly snuffled on the back of it. You can't trust no one, that's the point. Soon as you do, you're gone to grass. Dead. Gina, listen. If you like, in tomorrow's trial, I could forget it. Ginny, don't you trust Bruno? Nah, I don't. Look, I'll ask you nicely now. Just leave me alone. Will you at least tell us what happened, Gina? Last night, at the pawnbroker's. There's nothing to tell. I figured I'd pay me, so I broke into the place and started going through the storeroom. But the old bloke walked in on me and you know the rest. And how did you get the gun? He's the one that keeps it on his desk or close to his person so he can threaten to kill himself the entire time. Do tell. You didn't pickpocket it. But why, Ginny? Why would you do that? She did it for you. She wanted to get that story. Ain't it obvious? The place is full of stuff I could sell for a shilling or two. Diving ain't easy, you know. It's a lot of work, and half the time you don't even get nothing. Is that really why you broke into that place? What? Are you sure the true reason wasn't something else? Oh, give it a rest. What'd be the point anyway, eh? Nothing I could say would make a blind bit of difference. Please, tell us, Ginny. We'll believe you. Whatever it is. Oops. Believe me, don't be daft. You can't believe nothing. Everyone lies all the time. And you know what? When it comes to liars, I'm the biggest of them lot. I've told some unforgivable lies, I have. What do you mean by that? What unforgivable lies? What did you mean before, when you said you were the biggest liar of the lot? Why don't you tell us what these unforgivable lies you've told are? Maybe we can help. Sorry. We're out of time. They're gonna wanna question me now. Ginny, please. Oh yeah. I wanted to give you this. Something to remember me by. Oh, adorable. A photographic print of a really adorable cat. I found it in one of the pockets of this old coat. Of this coat. Ain't no point me having it. I wonder what a little photograph like that was doing in a pocket of that overcoat. Anyway, don't bother coming again. Bye. Oh, Ginny. The white cat photograph has been entered in the court record. Look on the back of this print here. There's something written on it. 13th of February, 9 p.m. Article deposited, 1 small box. Loan amount paid, 10 shillings. Redemption deadline, 13th of April, 9 p.m. So this photographic print is a redemption ticket? 13th of February, that could be significant. It was just 2 days before the murder on the omnibus, wasn't it? Small box. That doesn't tell us much about it, does it? Bruno? If Mr. McGilda still had the ticket, then presumably he never redeemed the article. So, do you think the box might still be present somewhere in the shop? Ah, yes! If it's something Mr. McGill deposited, we need to investigate. The white cat photograph's information has been updated in the court records. Yeah, there's no way in hell that this is all there is about this photo. This is an adorable little cat. I think it looks a little like Wakahai. It does. Although, I always thought that cats like to curl up inside under the heated kotatsu blanket when it snowed. Maybe British cats are different. No, not entirely, but they still walk their turf, I guess. Okay. You don't want to talk? Then we go tour Windybank's pawnbrokery. Maybe we can actually do something there. 16th of April, Windybank's pawnbrokery. This is where it happened then? Last night? That's right. The two thugs I told you about were obviously ransacking the place looking for valuables. But apart from the policeman in here, you wouldn't know anything had happened. There's no sign of disturbance. No, you're right about that, actually. In fact, if anyone, it's the police who seem to be the ones doing the ransacking. I know what you mean. They're like a gang of organized criminals all dressed in black. Oi, I heard that. Oh, Inspector, good morning. Suppose I ought to thank you for your vigilance last night. We got to the scene before it was disturbed, at least. Shame you let the two rogues get away, mind? Yes, I'm sorry about that. I thought you assigned extra men to the beat around here, Grixie. Now, look what's happened. Hurley's been injured because there weren't enough police on duty. Ah! Your ladyship! No one told me you were coming. I expect you to take full responsibility for what happened to Hurley and see he has the very best medical care. Of course, your ladyship. The very best doctors in the capital are tending to him as we speak. And I don't think it's Runa's fault that the rogues managed to get away, is it? Chasing criminals is the police's job. Absolutely, your ladyship. As you say, madam. As you say. The gent in black is totally blameless. Everyone's in agreement about that. Would you believe it? He's like a completely different person with Iris. Talk about a personality change. Oh, where are me manners? Are you thirsty, your ladyship? Perhaps you'd like some juice? Some nice, refreshing fruit juice? Oh, why are you thirsty, Grexie? He seems to be in a very disturbing way. I have some of my special herbal tea with me if you'd like some. Ah, lovely. Very much. That really hit the spot, your ladyship. I don't even recognize him like this. No. And he's back with his fish and chips. Alright, what do you have to say, Gregson? So, how's the investigation going, Inspector? Nothing to it, really. Very simple case, this. There's some very definitive evidence. We're just about to charge that diver we arrested last night, in fact. Go the purple, yeah. Yeah. Gina, you're really going to charge her? That's right. Should be able to bring her before the judge at the Bailey tomorrow. Definitive evidence, you say? What is it? Come on. Show me. Your ladyship, as much as I wish I could oblige you, I'm afraid. Ah, I see. You've already captured the pair of thugs you broke in here last night, have you? What the? And you're going to put them on the stand as witnesses, are you? How could you? How could you possibly know that? Sadly, nope. I had a feeling, that's all. Remind me never to try to keep a secret from Iris. So, you've arrested the 2 men who shot Mr. Sholmes, have you? Well, yes. They were rounded up pretty quickly at by the lads on the beat. And Miss Lestrade is being out of the prison. She should be. That's assuming she hasn't lifted the key from the jailer, of course. Oi, we were just at the prison. Can you tell us anything about Mr. Sholmes? What's his condition? Seeing him eat these fish and chips without any dipping sauce, I've ate fish and chips thrice? Maybe 4 times, I'm not sure. But each time, it just was missing any kind of spices. It was so boring. It's not bad, you know? What's wrong with chips and fries? Nothing. But the panade... Panade? Is that the word? The crust of the fish wasn't seasoned at all, and the fries were just lightly dusted in salt. That's it. I was so disappointed in that. Oh well, to each their own. What's his condition? Sorry, I'm not at liberty to divulge that information. Scotland Yard matters are strictly confidential. We were at the hospital. I know, game, that you do not pick up on that, but it kind of frustrates me that you told me in your thoughts that we should visit the hospital first. So I visited the hospital first. It really is. And I even ate it in London. I wouldn't do it at home. I don't know. That would be the saddest kind of dinner to me. Fish and chips. Eating it as a street food, fine, but not as a dedicated dinner or lunch or whatever. There was one good store which had the pea mash with it. The pea mash was good. And if you combined it, because it was seasoned, if you combine it, it was okay. But other than that, it was disappointing. Really was. And now, since I need a visa to visit England, I probably won't ever eat it again. Kind of sad. But then again, not really. Well, I know he's being operated at St. Sinner's. Why can't I see him? I'm family, you know. I'm terribly sorry, your ladyship. It's the hospital's policy. No visiting at all. Oh. The bullet must have hit an artery in his midriff. He's lost a fair bit of blood. I don't see any in this shop. And we know after the first case in London, blood in this game keeps fresh for days on end. Oh no. He didn't seem too bad in the first hour or so. But a hemorrhage Like, that is enough to make even the one and only Sholmes pipe down. Mr. Sholmes is a human like the rest of us, you know? Well, anyway, he's having emergency surgery right now. They've got to stop that bleeding. But he will be alright, won't he? They'll be able to make him better? Of course, your ladyship. He'll be as right as rain before you know it. Never promise the recovery of a patient you have no idea of the condition of. Yeah, I think. Probably didn't make much sense, but still. Don't promise anything. That is like the first thing you learn in any kind of medical profession. Never promise anything unless the outcome is 100% assured. Never promise anything. We know that he gets through this, but holy hell. I know it's easy because she makes these glistening sad eyes and she's a 10-year-old. It's the easy way out, but please, especially to children, do not promise them the recovery of a patient. But okay. Really? How do you know? How do I know? Well, because, of course. Yes, because Mr. Sholmes is such a great detective. That's why. Makes total sense, yes. We'd better pray the doctors have a better grasp of what's needed to make someone well again. Oh dear. Please don't die early. I'll report to your ladyship the moment I hear he's out of the operating theatre. Your ladyship. I couldn't help noticing, Inspector. What? Out with it, sunshine. Well, there seems to be a marked difference between the way you talk to me and Iris. Watch the source, Sonny. I'm a copper and we don't go in for favoritism. I'm out. No! No favoritism, no. No. Who would even think about favoritism in this game? Definitely not our good old Gregson. Nah. Nah. He's the most neutral party in this whole game. Yeah, it's definitely not a good thing to do. I know it's hard to tell someone the bad news, especially if you know that the person will die, or the likelihood of them dying is really high. It's hard to go in there and say, hey, it's not looking good. I'm really sorry, but you kind of learn it after a time. I've worked in a nursing home for 6 years. Yeah, he's the most neutral party. I don't see any difference between justice and neutrality and Gregson. You know, if you look up neutrality and non-favoritism, you will find Gregson, a picture of Gregson in the dictionary, that's for sure. But he's right. You treat us differently. It's because of those adventures of Sherlock Holmes stories, that's why. Oh, I crop up in them, don't I? Inspector Tobias Gregson. Oh, well, yes, because you're an acquaintance of Hurley's. What did you write about the inspector, Iris? I don't remember, really. It was one of Sholmes's lines. Gregson is the smartest of the Scotland Yarders, is how he put it. That's definitely not something he actually said. Oh, did I write that? And you know what that one line did for me, huh? The very next month, my pay doubled, I tell you. Oh, that's amazing. Well, because everyone at the yard reads them. They read all the Sherlock Holmes stories. They've even set up a fan club for me. Of course, that explains everything. It was around that time that you became such a toady too. Me. Toady to me. Can you blame me? All it'd take is one bad word from you and Sholmes could change his tune about me. Gregson? No, the great detective will say. He's getting quite overrated these days. Think what would happen to my salary if that came out in print, eh? I can understand him in a way. Because of your pay? Unless you're that underpaid. Yes, I know. We heard all about it in the last story. That these poor dudes have to work 24/7, have basically no time off and get paid an apple and an egg. But seriously, shouldn't someone in your position get a bit more money? Oh well. I didn't read that, did I? History. The whole thing gives me the willies. I don't tell you how many nights of sleep I've lost to worrying about it. But that would never happen, Grexy. Every month when the new Rants magazine comes out, my hands are trembling as I turn the pages. Oh, how awful for you. Here, have some of my tea to settle your nerves. Lovely. Ta very much. That really hit the spot, your ladyship. Teetotal. Oh, yeah, there's something I was supposed to talk to you about, actually, Mr. Naruto. Yes, what is it? I've got an important message for you. I clean forgot about it until now. An important message. I wonder what it could be. Important message. Are you going to tell me what this important message is then, Inspector? Yeah, it's about that young lady who's normally by your side, your assistant. Dear Susie, is she alright? She's at the station, isn't she? Oops. She's at the station, isn't she? Being questioned, I believe. Nope, not anymore. She had to head off. Head off? Where? To Lord Strongheart's office, of course. He summoned her. Ah, yes, of course, I'd forgotten about that. One of the whipstocks took her there in a yard carriage after we'd finished questioning her. But she asked us to tell you she didn't have the fare for the return journey and to go and meet her there. She's got the nerve, using Scotland Yard as a blooming messaging service. I see. Well, thanks. Thank you for passing that on, Inspector. Why did Susie have to go see the Lord Chief Justice? She didn't tell me. She didn't get to tell me. You should be honest here, Ryunosuke. But I'd better head over to the Lord Chief Justice's office to fetch her straight away. Okay. Boy. Move. A new location was added. Yay, let's go. Yes, I'm scaring everyone away with my bad accents and dialects and whatnot. British Supreme Court, Lord Chief Justice's office. Yes. No matter how many times I come here, I always get the same sense of oppressiveness somehow. Do you think the place is oppressive? I think it's normal. How so? I mean, look at that suit of armor over there. You can't take that seriously, can you? Maybe it thinks the same about you. So everything is clear with regard to tomorrow's arrangements, I trust? Yes, thank you very much. There they are, Susato-san and Lord Strongheart. I wonder what they're talking about. They both look very serious. Very good. There's nothing further to discuss. You may return to your lodgings. No doubt you have much to do in preparation for your return to your homeland. Wait, what? Called it. Wait, what did he just say? Your return to your homeland? Susato-san? What are these birds doing inside the building? Oh, Mr. Naruhodo? What was all that about? Ah, Mr. Naruhodo, thank you for coming to collect your colleague. What's this all about? Why were you talking about Mr. Susato's return to her homeland? And tomorrow? Tomorrow? But what about Ginny's trial? You mean she's been formally charged now? Oh dear. Yes. Talk to me. Miss Susato, what's all this about? Oh, please don't concern yourself, Mr. Naruhodo. It's only me going back to Japan. Your life here can continue just as... That's not what I asked. What happened? Why are you leaving? It's my father. He's fallen ill. Oh no. Professor Mikotoba? If I may? Yes, sorry. You may be the defendant, Ryunosuke Naruhodo, I believe? Yes, that's right. My name is Eugene Mikotova. I'm a professor of forensic medicine at Yuma University. We received an international telegram from the Empire of Japan informing us of the news. 10 days ago, father collapsed with a fever. The cause is apparently unknown. And it seems he grows weaker day by day. I don't believe it. As you are aware, the voyage from here to your country's capital, Tokyo, takes some 50 days. Yeah, her father is dead by the time she gets there. I'm sorry, yes. It's sad that she doesn't get to say goodbye, but if he has a fever for days on end, I don't know how high, but the probability of him living 2 more months is highly unlikely. So she would probably come back for his funeral. That would probably be over already by that time, but hey, she could at least go to the 100-day celebration? Ceremony? Ceremony is probably the right word. And okay, but she can't do shit there. That's... Nah. On the one hand, I understand that you would want to go back and see your family off or see if you can do something to help them. But on the other hand, why? As I said, they're probably dead by the time she gets there. Or he's totally fine already, but the telegram hasn't gone through yet. Okay. I thought it would be prudent to hasten Miss Susato's departure as much as possible. Yes, absolutely. I will leave London first thing tomorrow morning. Can't believe this is happening. So Gina has been captured? She'll have to appear in court? Yes, she was formally charged a few hours ago and the date of the trial has already been set for tomorrow. No, not even 24 hours later. Yes, this is the weirdest part about this country and this law system, but hey. Gina? Ah, the distraught girl and the murder of the Baker Street pawnbroker, yes. An all too conspicuous case. The pickpocket was clearly disturbed mid-robbery and shot the man in a panic. Sure. The logical conclusion. The girl with no gun shooting the person with the gun. No, the yacht is overstretched as it is, without wasting time on these open and shut cases. It's not wasting time. Ginny would never do something like that. Mr. Naruhodo. Yes, Lord Strongheart. In defense of your fine services to date, I shall overlook this young girl's insolence, but I have no recollection of admitting a child into my office. Leave. Now. Of course, Lord Strongheart. Criminals will tell the most palpable lies in order to evade justice. The police can ill afford the time it takes to unravel all their untruths. Meanwhile, more crimes are perpetrated. We have far more serious matters with which to contend. You know? if you were paid your workers better, they had a better work-life balance, say, don't have to walk, what was it, 20 miles a day? Still no idea what it was. 10 kilometers? Actually not that much. I pretty much walk that every day with my dog, but then again, yes, it's annoying, but yeah, having to walk that on top of everything else and capturing criminals, just, you see it in the health system, the healthcare system. These people are severely underpaid, have severe cases of overworking themselves. Just get everything in order, pay these people more, get more people interested in their job by providing better pay, so more people naturally get interested in going into these jobs. Then you don't have the problem of too few staff, especially too few actually what's the word, trained staff. But yeah, that will probably never happen. We have far more serious matters with which to contend. Serious matters? Didn't Gregson mention something like that yesterday? Yes, Inspector Gregson made a similar remark yesterday. These gods keep reading my thoughts. It's no concern of yours, though I'm sure I need not remind you of that. "3 minutes precisely until my next meeting. You must excuse me." There's just one more thing, Lord Strongheart, which is Miss Lestrade's trial. I wonder if you might permit me to defend her? A timely suggestion. Sorry? The girl currently has no representation. But that's not fair. Yes, she may be a pickpocket, but she still deserves a fair trial. Do not misunderstand me, young lady. The government provides for those too poor to afford representation with a public defender. The accused need only sign the relevant paperwork and a defense barrister will be assigned to the case. However, the young lady in question has refused that right. Why would she do that? A question you would do well to direct at Miss Lestrade. You'll find her at the local prison. Yes, thank you. We already went there. Now then, it's time I was leaving. Good day to you. I guess I made it. I played this all in the wrong order. Kind of annoys me. What a day. China charged with murder. Susato-san about to leave. Come, Mr. Naruto, Iris. We must make haste. But, Susie... You're leaving for Japan tomorrow morning, aren't you? Don't you have packing and things to do? As Mr. Naruto's judicial assistant, my personal circumstances are of no consequence. No. No! If you feel like you must, go to your family, then that is first priority. My sole purpose remains to help you in whatever way I can. Thank you, Miss Susetta. Ionosuke, that's like the first time I do not agree with what you say. Take her dictionary for all I care, but send her home. That's a very pensive look. I think we ought to visit Gina first. In any case, I should like to wish her well before I leave. Yes, that sounds like a good idea. Let's go. If I'm honest, this has completely thrown me off. I'll just have to do what I can as a lawyer. Jenny first. Ah. Hello again, Gina. Now? Now? You established that we visited already? What? Why didn't you just write the text differently if... What are you lot here for now? Show the muzzle of the grenade launcher shoved in our faces yet again, obviously. I think I need to improve the way you load ammunition to that thing, don't I? Look. You can come as many times as you like, but I ain't got nothing more to say to you. Gina? I wonder if you might hear me out. There's something I'd like to say. What? I'm sorry to say that I must reluctantly bid you farewell. Eh? Farewell? Tomorrow, I must begin my journey back home to Japan. I fear we may never meet again. Oh, right. I've had the pleasure of meeting so many lovely people here in London. I have so many wonderful memories. And yet, as things stand now, it will be a glum parting indeed, for Iris is so miserable. Susie... Well, that ain't my business. Both Iris and Mr. Naruhodo believe you to be innocent, Gina. They've put their faith in you. But somehow you can't find it in your heart to put your faith in them. Yeah, that's right, I can't. What of it? It grieves me greatly to have to say goodbye to my friends when they are so clearly unhappy. Because of you. What? It's my fault? Yes. So, I have one final request, Gina, before our paths never cross again. Right here and now. I want you to show both of them that you don't deserve the faith they've invested in you. Eh? Only by doing that will you truly be as alone as you claim to be. What are you talking about? What do you expect me to do, eh? You've told us that everyone lies. So prove it by admitting one of your own untruths. about what you said before, Ginny. You said something about unforgivable lies. You must tell Mr. Naruhodo and Iris the truth now. That is my last request before I leave. My last request as a judicial assistant. No, I can't. Whatever these lies are, they're obviously weighing very heavily on Gina's mind. Gina, I could be wrong, but is it something to do with what happened 2 months ago? Something about the trial? The one in which Magnus McGill was acquitted. The case of that mysterious murder that took place inside the omnibus. You were caught as a witness by the prosecution. Is that what this is about? Yeah, you're right. Because in that trial, I lied. I lied like you wouldn't believe. Will you tell us about it now? Oh, sad. I thought we would get a cutscene. The trial 2 months ago. Tell me. Like you said, it ain't happened 2 months ago. It all happened. The coppers got hold of me and shoved me in the witness stand. And based on your testimony, Mr. McGill was declared innocent. Yeah, well, the thing is, I lied about a whole bunch of stuff. I knew it. What sort of things did you lie about? I was hiding under the sea that night. That was the truth. It was pitch black in that little cubbyhole. I couldn't see a thing, and then I heard that loud thud, like someone falling on the floor. And that's when Mr. McGill discovered you? Yeah. He pulled me out from under the seat and set me next to the dead man. There weren't much light to see by, but when I looked at my hands, I had the cub's blood all over them. I was so scared, I couldn't even speak. You had his blood on your hands? In other words, it was Gina that the witnesses on the roof deck saw through the sky. But that's not different from what she said before. Then Mr. McGill started asking you questions, I suppose? Who you were and why you were hiding under the seat. Yeah, he did. Only, that's not all. What do you mean? I mean, he threatened me. Threatened you? He made me swear about what I'd seen and what I'd heard, and about what he was gonna do after the cub was found dead. He made me swear I wouldn't tell no one about any of it. If I did that, he said he'd let me her before the coppers showed up. Gina, you must tell me what he swore you to secrecy about. What you saw, what you heard. Everything. You said Mr. McGill made you swear not to tell anybody what you saw. But you were in the pitch black compartment under the seat the whole time, weren't you? Yes, with Mr. McGill sitting above your head, if I remember correctly. Yeah, that's true, but it was when I heard the thud of the cub eating the floor, I let out a little scream, you see. Couldn't help it. McGilded heard that and dragged me out by my arm, and that's when I saw it. It was on the floor next to the old geezer, what had been stabbed. A disc, all bright and shiny. Disc? Do you mean... Yeah, that's it. The one the D took off me at Windy Bangs. So the music box disc was there on the floor of the omnibus. Not for long. McGilded spotted it straight away. He picked it up, smartish, and stuffed it in his inside pocket. So that disc was in the omnibus 2 months ago at the scene of Mr. Mason's murder. And the bogtrot told me. I went to mutter a word of it to no one. Because it was so dark under that seat in the cab, I was straining my ears the whole time. After a while I heard the door and footsteps inside the cabin. Presumably that was Mr. McGilded getting on board. Nah, not only him. Oh, because I could definitely make out the footsteps of 2 people. In that case, it would seem likely that it was Mr. McGill and the victim, Mr. Thrice-Fired Mason. In his testimony during the trial, Mr. McGill claimed he slept during the carriage ride. But whenever I'm in the carriage, I'm taken with a fierce tiredness and I always succumb to it. And your own testimony, Gina, supported this. All I could hear was the Irishman snoring. Yeah. That weren't exactly true. Neither of them was asleep. Could hear him talking the whole time in low voices. What? What were they talking about? Sorry, I don't know. The sound of the horses on the wheels was too loud. But that still tells us something. Mr. McGill and the victim knew each other. So McGilded was lying as I suspected. After the event. I knew it weren't gonna take long before someone raised the alarm that the bloke had been killed. Yes, you were quite right. The other passengers on the roof deck noticed very quickly. So when the cab came to a stop, Mr. McGilded told me to hide back under the seat again. Climbed in and waited. They took cuffs from above, from up top, ran off to the coppers to get the coppers. Yes, Mr. Fairplay and Mr. First. Right, and after they'd gone, McGilded asked the driver to do him a favor. A favor? Now then, fella, what I need you to do is take this coat of mine and deposit it with a nearby pawnbroker. And for your troubles, let me see now. I'll give you 10 guineas. A nearby pawnbroker? You mean on Baker Street? Yep, got it. It was Windy Banks. The coachee snapped up the money and ran off to pop this coat as fast as he could. So then there was no one left in the carriage. McGilded opened the box under the seat and let me get out of there, but not without conditions. I see. What were Mr. McGilded's conditions then? For letting you go free, I mean. Not telling a soul, not for anything, about what I saw and what I heard. And there was something else as well. There's more. Yeah. This is the most important thing, he said. I'm after sending the coachman on a little errand for me, with some small change in his hand. Now then, did you hear what I asked of him? Did you see anything at all? At all? You asked him to go pop your visa, right? Aye. The fiend's taken me overcoat to deposit with a pawnbroker hereabouts. And I want you, lass, to take the redemption ticket for it. Do you understand? What? You want me to have the ticket? That's right. And I'll go come fetch it from you later. Sometime within the next 2 months. You have to hang on to it until then. Is that clear? And whatever you do, don't lose it. Alright then. And in case I might happen to be the late at all, you had to go to the pawn shop, Windy Bank, so it is, and you had to extend the loan before the 2 months is up. If you forget, the article will be forfeited and any old fiend could come along and buy it. But I ain't got that kind of breath. Here's £5. That should be enough. Do we understand each other, lass? Don't try anything funny now. If you go against me. Yeah, I get it. Good. And one more thing. And a few days from now you'll be visited by the police, I've no doubt. The coppers? Aye. They'll come asking you to take the stand in court to testify as a witness. So let's just make a wee chat about that, shall we? What it is that you might say, and what it is that you won't. After I'd gone over it all, I piked it. Got as far away from there as I could. He hid the pawnbroker's ticket in some bushes near the scene. I went to fetch it the next day once it got dark. So I killed it, planned it, and coerced Gina into giving false testimony. I bet... Yeah, can I read that? I bet you're ready to string me up there. It was pretty obvious. Why would I be pissed about you lying in this case? I'm sorry, but it was obvious that this case was all constructed and that somebody had to have lied about something, and since you were the only witness in that case, except for the accused himself, yeah, it's pretty much a given that you were paid off to give a false testimony, so I'm not really surprised. If that was a big reveal, I'm sorry, but nah. I lied in a big old courtroom. I told some coworkers. Oops. The thing is, he said he would make it so we couldn't live in the East End no more. That's what he threatened me with. What a wicked man. He knew everything what went on in the back slums. He knew we had no one to look after us, and we was all just looking out for each other. getting by together. So you mean Mr. McGilded would have in an earbit, a heartbeat, he could have had the lot of us chased out of there if he'd wanted. And then where would we have gone, eh? Nowhere, that's where. So I didn't have no choice. Thank you, Gina, for telling us everything. But I am for it now, eh? Go on, admit it. You must believe it. Well, you can make amends by doing me a simple favor. A favor? What? Sign the representation papers for tomorrow's trial. Eh? If you don't actually want me to represent you in court, you can rip it up later. But we need that paperwork or we can't investigate. The police won't let us. Investigate what? The scene of the incident last night. Mr. Sholmes was shot, you see. You what? Hurley's having a big operation right now, Ginny. Is it bad? Is he gonna be alright? Sholmes is gonna be alright, right? That's why I want to investigate, for Mr. Sholmes' sake as much as anything. Right. So what you're saying is, if I sign that bit of paper, everyone's happy, is that it? Something like that. Miss Susato? Yes, of course. I have the representation papers here. Does she even know how to write? I don't need no one to stick up for me, you know. No lawyer or nothing. Stop lying to yourself, please. I just realized that would keep no one locked up. You can just slide this to the side and you're free. Poor Ginny. She seems so lonely. Gina's representation papers have been entered into the court record. Paperwork signed by Gina to put me in charge of her defense. Showing this to Scotland Yard detectives gains us access to the crime scene. Well, at least this should mean we can investigate the scene of at Windybanks now. Yes, and perhaps we can come back to visit Ginny when we're done there? Let's. I feel like we finally cracked Gina. She's opened up to us at last. And now I have her representation papers. No one else knows just what responsibility that is. Anyway, for now it seems Inspector Gregson can't stop us investigating at Windybanks. Although, something tells me he's not going to be happy about it. To be continued. Perfect! I was planning on ending the stream here. Ah, perfect timing. Yes. 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 I was getting drowsy. No, don't start anything, please. Exit the game. Whoop. And boop. Oof. Alright. That was something, I guess. We actually got quite far, I would say. it finally got interesting. In the final episode of the first game of the Chronicles, although there are only 2 games in this Chronicles series, at least so far, as far as I know. So, I'm not sure where those Chronicles come from, but hey, who am I to judge? I judge no one. But yeah. Erica, if you want to talk about the podcast thingy, we can do so on Discord. I should still have you added as a friend, I believe, so if I find you, I'll write you, otherwise you can totally write me first. And yeah, thanks for stopping by. Take care. And I'll see you next time, probably tomorrow. Let's maybe not finish, but get closer to the finish line this game tomorrow. Bye bye. Me too, yeah, I enjoyed myself today. Very much so.